Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, a new executive order from President Trump calls for the creation of DOGE-linked agency payment tracking systems. And OPM signals broader agency layoffs and reorganization in a new memo. It's Thursday, February 27th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's dive into the day's top headlines. Federal agencies will be required to build centralized systems to track every payment they issue for contracts, grants, and other expenditures under an executive order the president signed Wednesday. President Donald Trump's order calls for each agency head to team with that agency's assigned DOGE team lead in building the new IT system. Each payment would be submitted to the system and include a brief written justification from the agency staffer who signed off on the expenditure. The systems would include a built-in mechanism to allow the agency head to pause and quickly review payments that are submitted without a written justification. As part of the build-out of the new system, agency heads and DOGE team leads will be required to review all existing covered contracts and grants, with the option to terminate or modify those agreements where appropriate and consistent with applicable law. At the same time, those agency heads and DOGE team leads will also be ordered to conduct a comprehensive review of all internal contracting policies, procedures, and personnel, finishing that review within 30 days. During that time, agencies shall not issue or approve new contracting officer warrants unless an agency head determines such approval is necessary. The order also calls for new guidance on signing new contracts or altering existing contracts. In the interim, new contracts could be approved by an agency head on a case-by-case basis. DOGE team leads, meanwhile, will be required to provide monthly reports on contracting activities to the agency head. And once those in-house tracking systems are implemented, the order says federally funded travel will be banned unless the travel approving official has submitted a brief written justification in the system. Finally, the order also freezes government-issued credit card use effective immediately through the next 30 days, with exceptions made for payments used for disaster relief benefits or other critical operations as determined by an agency head. Some agencies, like those in law enforcement and those that handle classified information, are exempt from the order. In other news, the Trump administration is asking federal agencies to submit reductions in force and reorganization plans by March 13th, setting the stage for more workforce terminations. A memo from the Office of Personnel Management sent Wednesday tells agency heads that their plans to reduce the workforce and reorganize departments are required to comply with the executive order to implement the White House's Department of Government Efficiency and its mission to optimize the federal workforce. Agencies have to seek reductions in non-critical agency components and enable staff to focus on higher value activities, the memo states. The department heads are encouraged to collaborate with agency-assigned DOGE counterparts on the agency RIF and reorganization plans, identifying specific competitive areas where positions are not typically designated as essential during appropriation lapses. In the second phase of the program, agencies also have to share plans to, quote, reduce costs and promote efficiency through improved technology, including through the adoption of new software or systems and elimination of duplicative systems. Like much of the guidance the Trump administration has sent out in recent weeks, this memo takes quite a derisive tone in stating, quote, the federal government is costly, inefficient, and deeply in debt. At the same time, it's not producing results for the American public. Instead, tax dollars are being siphoned off to fund unproductive and unnecessary programs that benefit radical interest groups while hurting hardworking American citizens. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. The Daily Scoop podcast is available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back next week with brand new episodes. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.